Thank you, Baba, for being here for us. It's very much needed and appreciated. And thank everyone else for joining. We're going to continue with the Ashtavakra Gita, Baba commenting on chapter 8 today, which deals with Ashtavakra, talking about bondage and liberation, about the self and self-realization. So we'll do that for about 30 minutes, and then there'll be an opportunity after that to ask your personal questions to Baba about spiritual things and spiritual topics. Okay, Baba, I'll read the verse, and then if you like, comment whenever you like.
Yeah, let us see.
Okay.
Or you can ask a question also. That will be more convenient for me.
All right. Okay, chapter 8, Bondage and Liberation. Bondage is when the mind desires anything or grieves the loss of anything, rejects or accepts anything, feels happy or unhappy with anything. Freedom is when the mind doesn't desire anything, nor grieves the loss of anything, neither rejects nor accepts anything, and feels neither happy nor upset with anything.
So wonderful, really. You see, this is what one has to understand. The mind, if it is contented, that contentment gives it that there is no need for anything. When there is no need for anything, it is totally free. As long as you need something, you bind yourself to that something. If you don't get that something, you can become upset, you can become disappointed, you can become miserable, anything can happen. Otherwise, there is no power, nothing that can upset you or make you unhappy. Always the supreme peace is there for you. So, if you are contented, this is the most elusive thing that humans can achieve in this world. So, once a self-realization is achieved, there is contentment.
Baba, do desires still arise, though, after self-realization?
Sometimes I have explained, a desire arising itself is not a problem. If the desire troubles you, like for example, you are asking for a yogi, like we have the sattvic ego of attachment to the guru and wanting to share the message about the truth that we experience in tapas. So these can be considered as sattvic ego. So we want to share. But however, there is no restlessness, no binding. If that desire doesn't work out, it can work out like when you are, people like all of you are there around the world who admire my teachings and who are ready to help through this Zoom or any other means that is possible. So then I get the opportunity to convey my opinion, my experiences, and answer the questions if there are any such questions. But if there is nobody to put any question, nobody want to recognize me, but still there is no disappointment for me. At peace, supreme peace. So that's how a yogi's desires goes. Not, it won't get converted into any craving. There is silent of the consciousness always.
So, you have, the mind continues to function. In self-realization, Baba, doesn't the mind become completely still?
It becomes still, but it is available for use. Because as long as this body is there, through this body only, I can communicate with the world. Like if I have to answer, I am answering through this body. I need the use of this body, application of the brain. To apply the brain, I need the mind. So my consciousness need to get applied to the brain, then the brain can be used. So these processes always has to happen. But this itself does not bind me into any expectations of particular result. If nobody is there to listen to me, nobody is there to ask a question, nobody want to come, so then also we are not disappointed and we don't have any cravings, we don't any feel bad about it. At peace always. Mind is quiet and supremely peaceful. Only if we have to answer and use it, then the mind gets applied to the brain and it is used. It is not out of a binding desire.
So, Baba, as the result of quieting, silencing the mind through meditation and realizing the self, it's like once the self is known, then the mind can no longer it continue to function when it's needed, but it can no longer get attached to anything.
Yeah, it doesn't get attached to anything. You won't allow your mind. See, mind is a power of the self, creative power. So that can be used. Just like you have a car in the garage. It is silent and quiet when you don't start the engine. That doesn't mean that the car is not available for use. It is available for use and you can start the engine, take it out and drive around. And when you have control over the car, you just drive only that much necessary and bring it back to a halt and come back home. Then there is no problem. That car does not bind you. But if you become so restless that without the car, you cannot eat, you cannot sleep, you cannot sit. So you want all the 24 hours. Like some of the youngsters spend their time with video games, all the 24 hours. They cannot remain without that. That is binding. That's what gives problems. Otherwise, if you just utilize the service, it is not binding. We also use the cell phone, but we use limitedly. If we need to take any call, rarely that happens, or we need to attend the WhatsApp messages, or we need to send any message, quote, or any such spiritual things on the broadcast list. Like this only we use it. Otherwise, I just keep it. All the time I don't use, like during the satsang, I have put the phone into silent mode. I had put it actually into flight mode, then you signal that you want to send a message asking me about the questions. So that's why I had to open it. So then I have kept it open, but I have kept it silent so that nobody else should disturb by trying to call during this satsang. So I don't use it. But many youngsters, many people in the world, they don't follow the protocol or manners. They keep it on. Anytime the ring comes, they take it, or at least they simply get out of the satsang also, meditation also, any place. They don't even seek permission. They go on. That talk becomes so important. So that is binding. So that binding is not there for a yogi.
So Baba, then there's a second part to the car and the garage analogy, I think. Because yes, you can use the car when you want, but even while you're using the car, you never lose awareness of where the car is coming from, or in this case, you can be thinking and acting, but you're always aware that you're infinite, that you're not involved.
When you are driving the car, you need to be aware of the road that is in front of you. Rest of the things you operate automatically, mechanically. Pressing the accelerator, pressing the brake, or changing any gear, any such thing that is needed is done automatically. Every time you are not going to search where the brake is. So by then you would have hit a tree or an accident would have happened. But you are aware on the road, that road is clear, you can go ahead. The same way yogi has the awareness of the self. The consciousness is totally attentive of the self. It is silent. It is not getting carried away with whatever talk that is given, whatever answer that is given. No craving happens. So the mind is ever silent when, as Ramana Maharishi said, even if a yogi gossips a lot, he is the ever silent one. Inside, there is peace and awareness of the self is there, intact.
So you're always, a yogi is always aware of the self, no matter if he's thinking or acting or what does that, what does that mean, Baba, to be aware of the self while acting?
Consciously, I need to be aware. Mechanically, a lot of work can be performed by the body. Mouth talking or hands moving. For everything, I don't have to bring in the mind to such a higher level and apply the brain. So much is not necessary. So the maximum of the awareness is there on the self. Only a little bit consciousness is in touch with the brain to keep it alive. That is all. So that I have always tried to explain. Unknown to you, common people are using their mind's energy, applying too much on the brain, more than that is necessary. A little bit of application of mind can use the brain very well. This is possible if you practice meditation. So this is how, then the rest of the thing you can keep to yourself, means remaining in the self, in the awareness of the self.
Can you desire without being bound to the desire?
Yes. I desire that I can convey the message of the truth that I have experienced. But that desire is not binding. We leave it to the divine. Whoever is destined to listen to us, they are brought by the divine. Whoever is destined to receive our blessing, they are brought by the divine. If the divine doesn't bring 50,000 people, there is no problem and no craving. We don't lose anything. We are at peace. Like Swamiji always said, even if one person understands my philosophy, I will consider my mission is complete. Arjuna listened to Lord Krishna, and there were so many millions and millions of soldiers were there, regiments were there, warriors were there ready to fight with each other on the battlefield. But Sri Krishna addressed Arjuna. Arjuna only expressed the doubts about his own mind, and then Krishna taught him. That became Bhagavad Gita.
Baba, you said that the mind and consciousness are the same. How are they the same and how are they different?
When there are thoughts and visions in the consciousness, the same consciousness comes to be known as mind. When all thoughts and visions are cleared, they all dissolve through the practice of meditation of just watching. Then once when you achieve total silence of the mind, it is no more mind, it would have regained the form of its pure consciousness. This is another nearest term that we use, because consciousness means it is available. Wherever you apply, you can become aware of it. You apply it to yourself, you become aware of yourself. So that consciousness is also nothing but you, yourself. You become mind when you keep thinking, when you go into craving, and you become pure consciousness when you clear all the cravings of the mind, which are in the form of thoughts and visions. They all dissolve. Then pure consciousness is there.
So, Baba, if the mind's producing our ideas and concepts and imaginations, how do we function in the world if it remains quiet?
It is not necessary that everybody remain quiet at all times. Simply what I am trying to advocate is use the mind only that much that is necessary. More than that, it should not go into a craving. Thinking is a wonderful capability of the consciousness, yourself or the mind, whichever terminology you want to use. But if the thinking gets converted to worries, that's what creates stress and trouble. So that is what one should not allow. If you practice meditation, you can restrain yourself like that, yet you will be able to think. The world will be able to think. We always tell that the mind does not get destroyed. It is always available. You are simply taking it control under your control. So whenever you want, you can use the mind. For that only I have given the example from day one. Whole day when you are working, when you are tired, you want to relax at home on a sofa or on a bed. Whereas you can put the body for a relaxing position, but the mind does not listen if you are not used to it. If you have not practiced to restrain yourself, the mind is spinning, wandering like a monkey, is stressed with all the office work or business work or anything that is there. It is unable to give up or forget. It keeps revolving. So that needs to be stopped so that you can totally relax. That's why every time in the beginning of meditation I tell, relax. Don't get agitated. Gently close your eyes. For all this you need to have patience. Patience can pay rich dividends. That's important. So that's what we try to advocate. If you have patience, you control your mind. You are not losing the mind. Whenever you need, you can use it. So when you are able to control the mind like that, and when you use the mind, remember, you would have become a matured human being. You will be able to uphold human values, reasoning, consideration to each other. You will always try to consider a larger cause. You will not be selfish or narrow-minded. These are the important points that we human beings always forget in the world. People become so selfish and narrow-minded. That's how they try to be cunning always, trying to give one set of justice to the other, one set of justice to mine. That is what we try to do always, so that we want it. For others, if anything happens, I don't have to bother. This consideration comes when you have the mind under control, when you would have purified through the practice of meditation. So when one meditates, these transformations must come. Only then we can say that that person has meditated thoroughly and properly. Otherwise, simply you sit for 30 years, 50 years, closing the eyes, and no transformation comes, no human values comes in you. That means you have not meditated properly. Your mind had been working like a devil's workshop all the time. That's what we need to understand.
Baba, just in a practical way, as long as you feel like you need something from the world for your peace and happiness and security, you're gonna, be kind of attached to those things. Does self-realization, is that kind of the fulfillment of all desires? Does it fulfill all desires?
Yeah. Those realization occurs. You see, as long as this body is there, this body depends on the world. But that too, you will be able to keep to the minimum. Minimum to sustain this body. A little bit of food is needed. Like Swamiji said, in the 12 bananas, all you need is 2 or 4. You don't have to be greedy for all the 12 bananas to eat yourself. That's what is needed. This body requests only a little bit to sustain itself so that we can live in the world. But when we become greedy, we don't know how to stop. We want to own this also, own this also. People, when they have money, they go on buying property in every town, In every apartment, they will need to have a flat for themselves. There is never ending. Like a trophy they keep collecting. In how many houses they are going to stay? All they need is one place, one shelter. This realization doesn't come because there is money. They are greedy. They want to buy more property. Invest it in properties. Buy and buy and buy and buy. One day we die and everything is left here. Then that's what happens. So that need and greed changes when you practice meditation. So body also, we work only for the need to sustain this body. Like when we teach, we don't have any demand or imposition. These are the charges, we need this much of money, nothing. We don't ask for anything at all, free of charge. We do these teachings. 1 hour I am able to give answers. On their own, if anybody gives a little donation, through that we are able to sustain our lives and the institution that our Guru established. That's enough. We don't have to be greedy. It gives lot of satisfaction and peace. There is no disappointment. We don't have to curse others because everybody have their own expenditures, their own needs. We have to understand that within that. That's why I tell, keep the principal amount. A little bit work out in the budget if you give is good enough for me. I don't need too much of your things. Like that. So this is how we work out. Being greedy and just working for the need. So this maturity comes with the realization, actual me as the soul does not need any of these things. For my existence or peace, don't even need this body. This body I need if I have to communicate with the world. That realization is always there. So that will not be binding on us. Oh, there is no such greedy desire that we have to keep the body all the time. 3 months ago happened. The divine, if it is time, if you want to take, if my work is over, I am happy. You tell me what you want to do. So the divine said, you live for some more time. Okay, my God, I will be. So that is how it happens. Means on my own, I have nothing to demand that, no, I don't want to die. I want to be here all the time. So the work is done. It can look after for generations, whatever teachings we have left, whatever recordings are done, whatever answers are there, people can learn from that. So like that, you keep yourself non-binding and free in the consciousness. The craving or greediness doesn't come at all.
Without self-awareness, Baba, it's almost impossible to imagine that you could be happy or fulfilled without having a lot of stuff. You know, you keep looking, more stuff, more things, more travel, more everything.
You need to have a, you need to have a kingdom and you need to be the emperor. Only then you can have the satisfaction that you are an emperor. You don't have an empire, you are not an emperor, but in the mind, if you keep thinking, I am the emperor, it doesn't work out. So you need to have the awareness of the self to be really contented, satisfied. Otherwise, satisfaction never comes to the humans. The contentment is the most elusive thing for anybody. You get one thing, 2 more cravings come. You get one bicycle, for a motor bicycle craving come. You have motor bicycle, you get into craving for a car, so many variety of cars. Then you have a craving for a helicopter. Then you want to own a jet of your own. The cravings are never ending. It goes on and on and on. If the friend is having 1 jet, I need to have 2 jets. So like that, the craving goes for human beings in the world. The richest people, it keeps coming in the list. Newspapers, this person is the richest, the most richest 3 people, the richest 10 people. I don't know what do they gain. All they can eat also is the same little bit of bread that we eat. More than that, if they eat, they will die.
Okay, Baba, we'll continue with the verses here. Verse number 3, chapter 8. Bondage occurs when the mind gets attached to any sensory perception Liberation is when the mind is unattached to any sensory perception. 4, when there's no I, there's liberation. When there's I, there's bondage. Knowingly, this playful one neither gets attached nor rejects anything. And then in your comment, you say, whenever the mind holds on to any type of imagination, the mind gets bound by such imagination. And you talk about Bhavasagara, which means the mind creating a deluge to itself by its feelings and further is bound to the universe by its attitude. The mind gets involved and gets bound. Any imagination, whether right or wrong, happy, unhappy, good, bad, causes bondage. Mind has to rise above these dualities and remain quiet to attain liberation.
You see, in the beginning, one important sentence, if there is no I, there is no bondage. That sentence is so important. In Hindi, there is an old saying, if there is no bamboo, there is no flute that you play. There is no problem at all. There is no thing that creates a problem, then there is no problem at all, to say that one. As long as the individual imagined self, that I imagination is there, then when we go into imagination that I want all these things, then the problems comes. Me and mine, the problem starts. If that me itself we realize that me itself never existed, that was only an individual imagined self, the Jivatma, it never existed. When we realize through practice of meditation only. Otherwise, the imagination will always be there. When we read the scripture, Jivatma, Paramatma, I am the Jivatma, I am the Paramatma, these things keep coming, this imagination sits. But thoroughly, if you practice meditation, then all this gets dropped, all idea gets dropped totally, that I am this and I am that, everything finishes. Then there is no problem at all. If I don't exist at all, there is no problem that can happen to me.
Baba, that's because you realize you're just the witness. You're just the watcher, the silent witness to what the mind is creating and projecting. That you're not what's being created. You're not the body. You're not what's in the mind. But somebody's watching, and it turns out you're that watcher, and you're not an individual. Is that correct?
See, the real one who is watching is the real existence of you. Then you have imagined about yourself, which really does not exist. And to that yourself, which you have imagined, you imagine further incidents. Like sometimes in a dream, you will be the watching one who is watching. You will be watching the dream also. You will be watching a train is moving and you have the feeling that you are sitting in the train. But once that stops, if you carefully observe, actually what was there was only your feeling that you were sitting in the train, and you realize that you actually never sat in the train because the train itself never existed. If you practice meditation, in the dream also you are able to keenly observe like a meditation. Then you realize the only one that which is watching, that's what is Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam. As a witness, we are just watching the dream. The dream happened, but the train that was in the dream was not real. That I that was sitting in the train was also not real. Both were imagined, superimposed. This realization comes, but you have to practice meditation first. That is when only you get the practical experience.
So only the consciousness of existence, the consciousness is real.
Finally, that is the truth.
Nothing
That's what I keep telling. amongst millions of thoughts, only one thing that is reality, which has the existence value, is the consciousness of existence. But just now, that has shifted onto the body and other imaginations of I am this and I am that, like this. But the actual that you can observe when you get rid of all other thoughts and visions that are in the mind, or that only watch in between eyebrows is taught. The master insists, just watch, do not bother about any visions or thoughts. Don't get excited either by a good or a bad. Even if it is the divinity or anything, don't get attracted, just watch. Because the one which is creating itself is the divinity. You don't have to bother about anything. So then you keep quiet, then everything dissolves. Then the attention turns to itself.
Yeah, it was such a powerful experience for me when you said you can't make yourself disappear. I assure you, you can never make yourself disappear. And
Yeah, in meditation I have told this, when you go on meditating, you can make all thoughts and visions disappear when you stop thinking and just watch. When you are watching, thoughts all gets dropped, they all dissolve. As long as you are thinking, it is like hen out of egg, egg out of hen. Skillfully you withdraw one of them, then the process stops. So that is how you just stop thinking and keep watching. That's what you have to practice in meditation. First important thing is just practice just watching and nothing else. You don't have to analyze anything. You don't have to do any research work. You don't have to judge anything at all. All you have to do is just keep quiet. That itself will give you the research analysis results. One day, the awareness of the self.
when you're not thinking, you still exist.
You exist. That existence, that you cannot make disappear. You focus on it, you merge with it, still you are there. So that is how probably the ancient sages also determined that self is eternal.
All right, Baba, I'll continue reading. Things come and do not come. Things happen and do not happen. If you remain quiet in your mind, that is pure consciousness. And be in the self. That is the nature of self-realization. For this, there's a beautiful narration in the Ramayana. Ravana approached Maricha, the illusion expert, asking to disguise him as a golden deer so he could go in front of Sita and Rama to lure Sri Rama away from Sita and take Sita away to his home in Lanka. To this, Maricha says, Ravana, you're also an illusion expert. Ravana, by the way, is like the ego. So, Ravana, you're also an illusion expert. Why do you not go disguise as Sri Rama?
Disguise. I wrote this commentary. I will just finish this sentence, what you are reading. In the commentary there long ago as a youngster we heard in the Ramayana stories, then Maricha tells, why don't you disguise yourself as Rama? He tells Ravana. Ravana tells me to get disguised as another person, he needed to think like that person. Ravana says, I don't know what material this Rama is made up of. When I try to think like Rama, I lose interest in Sita at all. I don't feel like taking her away. I don't want to be Rama. I want to be Ravana. Go and take her away. He insists. Means such a wonderful thing. You can imagine what an exalted consciousness of Sri Rama after self-realization, after listening to the discourse of Vasistha in the Yoga Vasistha Ramayana, that Rama's mind had become. He was in the world, he was a married person, as a prince, as everything, but the mind had no desire at all. It was in the awareness, such an exalted thing. He was with everything but not interested in anything. not desiring anything at all. That's how a yogi lives in this world.
So, Baba, when you feel like Rama, then there's no desire, and or you feel
Yeah,
like Ravana, then you can have you want to hang on to your ego and have malicious thoughts and
yeah. Ravana says, I need to have my ego, otherwise I lose interest. If I start thinking like Rama, my ego also gets dropped and mind becomes totally quiet, silent, and I lose interest to take away Sita at all. I don't want to be Rama, he tells.
okay, we got one last paragraph, Baba.
Okay.
When the body urges of hunger, etc., happen, it appears as if they're happening to us. This is because consciousness is stuck into the reflections of the brain. Once it's detached by the awareness of the truth, there's no bondage anymore. All troubles begin with the imagination of me and then mine. This me is simply an imagined individual self which does not exist, but is in the mind's imagination only. It does not exist, yet there is an imagined body. This is known as the subtle body, which cannot be seen by the naked eyes and does not exist except in imagination. Like I am a man or I am a woman, I am rich, I am poor, numerous shapes of our self happen in imagination, which cause bondage. To this imagined self, we strive to feed its wishes, try to satisfy it. The more you feed it, the more it thirsts for objects and sensual pleasure. Once you realize who you really are, I am not the imagined I, with names and personalities. This I is supreme consciousness. The individual imagined self is ego. And to realize the real self, all bondage ends. Throughout our life, in the form of the body, we struggle to keep this imagined self secure and show so much ego. Often arrogance crops up, and with that, anger. This is all bondage. To have inner peace, quietness in the mind, realization of this self, this as pure consciousness, and attention on that awareness is liberation.
So, in this commentary of mine, I would like to say a few words of the essence, particularly of how a yogi and an ordinary man suffering mentally. Generally, in this world, like Ramana Maharshi also said, people suffer in the mind. It is the mind which suffers. Actually, thus, even if a person dearer to us is suffering 100 miles away, we also suffer mentally because our consciousness get attached to them. But for a yogi, there is no such mental suffering. But because the consciousness is in touch with the brain, if anything happens to the body, then the pain yogi also feels. That yogi also, if any surgery needs to be done, yogi also needs an anesthesia. Otherwise it will be very painful. Though the mind may not suffer. Suppose any illness happens to the body, but the mind will not suffer. Yogi will take it graciously. But outside the pain will be unbearable, it can be. Like when Dr. Al treats me for the teeth, he needs to give anesthesia, otherwise it will be very pain. We won't be able to take it, even being a yogi also, because the consciousness is in touch with the brain. But mental suffering will not be there. This difference one needs to understand. Having the pain through the body, mind suffering are two different things. When mental suffering happens, such a person loses peace and gets into stress always, is miserable. So such things doesn't happen to a yogi. Yogi is not miserable. Even if he feels bad about anything, quickly he can recover. These things happen. Like Vasistha tells, even though a yogi cannot afford to feel sorry for the world also. He appears to be inert. But if anybody prays to him for grace and blessings, he becomes compassionate. He is able to understand others' sufferings, others' problems. He is able to listen and understand and bless them, pray for them is possible. So that is how things go. That's what we have tried to explain in this paragraph also, basically. So when you practice meditation, the consciousness slowly will shift on to the self, and gradually it decreases its percentage onto the brain or the body. Because of a little bit of knowledge, we can tell about the brain or the body attachment. But maximum of the potency of the consciousness is free. Thus, mind does not suffer, but body pain one can be felt. That pain will be there. But ordinary people keep suffering so much in the mind. Even if the body is suffering is a little bit, even if the body is not suffering, some other physical body is suffering, they suffer mentally, because if they are attached to that person, they are unable to sleep. It is so stressful for them. So this difference needs to be understood by you all. So wonderful, Agastya. There was very beautiful questions reading the chapter, and I think we can take some questions from the participants for about 25-30 minutes.
Okay,
Please
Baba.
ask the questions sensibly as a follow-up of these spiritual truths that we have discussed, and I'll be happy to clarify and elaborately answer. Yes.
Babaji, I was reading yesterday. So Sage Vashish says that a jiva is consist of consciousness and inertia. So an inertia, in his definition, is darkness, symbolical of ignorance or darkness of moon. So Sage Vashish says that Rama removed this inertia and achieve the consciousness, the reality of pure consciousness. My question is, like, with this, it seems that every being, if they have come into this world, they have come with ignorance. So there could be no one who is self-realized coming into the world.
When we watch, sometimes it appears to be so, definitely. But conclusively, we may not know. The amount or potency of inertia may vary from person to person. Like, for example, if we take Rama did undergo some depression, some vairagya, but after listening to Vasistha, just by listening to Vasistha for 7 days, he had achieved the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. That means that soul was very ripe. It just needed, like Ramakrishna used to tell, if the firewood is totally dry, it just requires a small fire that it picks up. If it is very wet, then no amount of fire you try to put, it doesn't picks up. So if the inertia is too much in a person, such a person may listen 100 times to such discourses, but he may not pick up the right awareness of what self is. So such differences might be there. Those people who became self-realized in one life by doing tapas or younger ages means they were born at least as a ripe soul, if not 100% self-realized. Probably. I may not be conclusive what I am talking, because we cannot survey each and every person that has happened in the history. Is difficult, because many times devotees will feel offended if we try to talk about any guru. We don't mention about any guru's name, that's why. So it's up to them what do they feel, but this is the general opinion I can give.
Okay, thank you, Babaji.
Pranams, Babaji.
Yes,
Hello. So wonderful to see you. So I was thinking about how you speak about divine activity happening automatic, and then I was thinking about how some refer to this as a divine leela, a kind of like a drama enacting itself, or maybe I have the definition of Leela wrong, but my question is, why would the divine want to incorporate suffering and, all these terrible things that happen into the Leela of life and into this activity? The divine is supposed to be peace, all peace, and and supreme peace. So why does it incorporate suffering into its existence?
One important thing, we do not hold the divinity entirely as responsible for this. The microspec consciousness which came out should take responsibility for its own failure to remain in the awareness of the self. Like early morning, if you get up, if you are fresh after a sound sleep, suddenly your mind starts imagining. When it starts imagining itself, you must stop. There is no need for imagining. We always already is happy. But you try to enjoy the imagining also in the pleasantness. But as the day passes by, it slips into dualities of good and bad, happiness and unhappiness. Then you lose control. Then when you lose control, you don't realize what you committed, what mistake that you had committed, and you would like to see who is the reason for this, why did this happen. So like this, we all keep wondering why does this world is happening. See, in the world also, if we see, human beings generally are some internet problem. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Babaji. There we go.
Oh yeah, it has come back. It has come back. Sorry. So we try to hold somebody else as responsible. But we are human beings, are the most irresponsible people. That's why we are always into conflicts. We don't want to consider about each other. We are always selfish and narrow-minded. And then we don't want to take control of the mind. See, understanding the physical body itself, by the time we realize, if we lose even any small organ, small portion of the body, we realize the importance of such a portion. Till then, we don't bother what can happen to the body. Our lifestyle, our eating, everything, we go carelessly. Eating junk food, all those things. Only when a calamity comes, then we run to a doctor. This is one thing. And the mind is the most neglected thing. When we tell youngsters you meditate, they tell, no, I don't have to meditate. I have the beautiful mind. I am a genius. I can achieve 95% mark. I can be this and that. But they don't realize the challenge of the world can, as they grow up, it increases. The world is much more bigger. Mind is always a microspec. When it hits us, then only people realize, but by that time it becomes quite late. Then they want to find a scapegoat. Who is the reason for this thing? It's not the divine. We as individuals must take up, that's a purushartha. As the advancement of science and technology, I have told, it is wonderful, but we have forgotten spirituality. That's why the world is into conflict in spite of so much of advancement. So I was talking to a scientist and tell ki, it's time that scientists invent a machinery which can bring humans together and give peace to them. It is the meditation which can give. Everybody need to meditate. Spirituality should be practiced. Science and spirituality should go together. That's why Swami Vivekananda told this one. So we need to find our own mistakes instead of trying to find somebody else who is wrong. We don't know what God is actually, who is God in, what is his capacities, what are his working things. It is we who had neglected ourselves. It's time that we take care of our own minds. Enough is enough, Shaolin. Let's go back home. That is the final. Okay.
Yes. So we do have a small part to play in the entire drama.
Yes. Everyone has a role to play. You have to role to play. You need to find your real self. That should be the purpose. And a big challenge to live in this world, earning a livelihood is more challenge in a Western country. By doing that, in that midst, you have to try to realize yourself. It's a challenge because you have put yourself into this. Now it's time that you try to escape from this bondage. A guru comes and tries to advocate and advise. You need to listen and try to do it for yourself.
Time to become quiet.
Yes.
Pranam Babaji, Pranam Babaji. I suppose in a way it follows on from the last question. Okay, so we are part of the divine Leela. It comes through our body and mind. And my question is, how do we follow the intuition? How do we know the difference between the intuition and the ego? How can we tell, and how do we know how to follow?
In my opinion, both are same actually. I will give my opinion and observations. Generally, human beings are afraid to face a failure. They want to make a judgment, and in that they want that they are always right. What if we do a wrong judgment? Nobody knows what is wrong judgment, what is right judgment. When you take a decision, you don't know about the future. So suppose the futures goes on happening according to your imagination, according to your decisions and judgments, then you start considering, oh, I am getting some intuition from inside. Somebody is guiding me, that's why these things are happening. If it is failure, then you start wondering why the guidance did not come. Was it my ego? So it was neither ego nor the guidance that was the failure. Simply nobody knows what the future is. That is the truth. You have to take a decision ready to face the failure. A failure is not a thing of to be ashamed. It happens. Sometimes it happens as we expect. Sometimes it may not happen as we expect. All of us. I initiate and teach people meditation to so many people. All of them may not become self-realized, but that doesn't mean that I was wrong. I didn't know that there are not many people ask this question. So do you know that they will become self-realized or not become self-realized? Based on this only do you initiate people? I tell you, there is no such judgment. I really don't know who will become self-realized and who will not. But I initiate whoever wants to be initiated and tell them this is the path. If they do it, they will get. If they don't do it, they don't get. But I am not to be blamed. I have nothing to lose. So like that we have to go in this world. Then this problem will be sorted out. Otherwise this will be a puzzle always. Intuition or ego, how to know? You can never know which one is ego. Whatever comes to you, based on that you take a decision. Just be ready. The first failure is beginning of success. You try again, try again. These were the real things that were taught to us from childhood.
Thank you, Babaji.
Blessed.
Pranams, Babaji.
Yes.
You had said today earlier, the mind and you are the same, or the self. And you also had said in the past, mind is so vast, you cannot show the shape, it's infinite. And you had also said in the past, the supreme consciousness or the space is also so unlimited. So essentially, right now, the human mind is a microspec. It has limited itself to the body. But once it gives
Yes.
up the thought, so these are all the terminologies, mind, supreme consciousness, space, they're all one and the same, and you use the nearest analogy to help.
Terminologies are used due to different reasons. When there are thoughts and visions of imagination in the same consciousness is there, then we address it as mind. My mind wants to do this. I want to go. So both are same actually. But we call it mind. When the mind is cleared, it becomes silent. Just for sake of teaching and educational purpose, we tell it regains its form of pure consciousness. Until we tell definition, a consciousness means wherever you apply, you become aware of that thing. So when the consciousness becomes pure, it gets applied to the self and you become aware of your real self. So all these are same. Though The actual divinity is all pervaded. That is the final truth. Mind is also not less, it is of immense potency, but compared to the ultimate truth, it is a microspeck. But sometimes I would have tried to tell in my talks, even with this potency of mind in this world, people have achieved so much in different fields of science, technology, etc., etc. Wonderful. They keep improving. Even astronomers keep improving the strength of the telescope, that they are able to watch this many thousands of light year distance things they are able to watch. Powerful mode beam. So all these are done with the help of the mind's application on the brains, their observation, understanding capabilities. So mind also definitely has immense power. But if it is used in the right way, right sense, then we can gain knowledge about the self or universe, whichever one is interesting to you.
Thanks, Babaji. Pranams.
Baba, when we ask for grace from the so-called divine, is it we ourselves that are giving us grace?
Yes, you are asking grace from yourself because you have clouded yourself with your own imaginations. So you need an anchor. So you need the divinity, imagination also. So that is the means. I have told your mind's ultimate truth is recognized as divinity. If your mind is like a droplet, its ocean is the divine. So thus when you need an anchor, you pray to that divine.
My question is like just 5 minutes ago when you were giving summary of the Ashtavakra 8th chapter. So the difference between a normal man and a yogi, when it comes to the mental suffering and the pain, the yogi doesn't feel the mental suffering, but he will feel the pain. But actually, normal humans more feel the mental struggle and actual physical physical pain also. So the
Yes.
reason is because the normal human beings are get hold in the past and present more since they are more actually bondage with the past and future. That may be the reason why they will more suffer this actual mental suffering.
You see, they don't have the knowledge of the self awareness. They don't have knowledge awareness of the self. So that's why mentally they can bind themselves, can become attached to anything of this world, either to the future, like the mind is either anxious about the future or brooding about the past. This is one basic reason. And they can become attached to any person. So I have told, when this world is suffering, just by worrying, you cannot help anybody. If you stop worrying, maybe you can help somebody, whatever is in your capabilities. Like that also we have advised. So this is what happens when you are attached, when you don't know the self, instead of working, you start worrying. So then you stressed out. So these things happen to a common man who doesn't have the knowledge of the self.
Namaste.
Hello, Babaji.
Yes, I can hear you.
I just wanted to request you that, even you do the meditation, I know that's the main part of the practice. And usually, even in Vasishtha Gita, he advises in few chapters, whenever you see the world, you try to make yourself in the world that see as it is you're reflecting. That's it. Nothing to be connected. You make everything as blank. How to practice that? That's the thing. Everything you see outside is nothing but you.
See, this is possible only when you practice meditation with the technique that we told. Silently, when the mind becomes totally quiet, because of mind's imagination, you get attracted or attached and you get to see yourself in the world also. So this awareness doesn't come until the mind gives up its imagination. To give up its imagination only, spiritual practices have been told. Whatever you have inclination, the bhakti marga, devotional music and japa you want to do, if possible try to do the silent meditation. That only will help you to withdraw mentally, not to get attached so much to this world mentally, and thus you don't get have to suffer mentally. Will be possible, not otherwise. Practically it has to be practiced meditation, then only it will be possible.
So it will be reflected that you are the world, you are everything. You are the consciousness which is spread
This
everywhere.
awareness comes only when you meditate. Practically, when you are able to experience only, it will stay in your consciousness. Just by studying or listening, it won't stay long. When practically it comes, you will forget.
Okay, as age, one more question, Babaji. As age is advancing, what happens is whatever the books you read, whatever the notes you make, whatever the things you hear, everything is dropping off, naturally, because the memory gets a little bit weakened. So at that stage, I know you need to do the meditation, just surrender yourself to the consciousness. That's the main thing. But how to make it more possible? Even these things are vanishing from your mind. All the knowledge what you gained, whatever the books has told, all the memory has been getting off. So what is the best thing you advise for that?
Best thing, you try to listen to devotional music and try to do some japa also when you are not meditating. Whatever is easy at remembering the divine's name, so that the mind can become single pointed as much possible. Without, you don't have to depend on any memory, but you just keep on practicing these things every day. If you keep doing, that will come. You don't have to keep it in memory also. Name of a god or any mantra that is easy
Not
for
only
you.
not only the books, the books, Babaji, whatever you read all these years. I mean, so many. I mean, all these scriptures and other things, and you wrote, make notes and all that. Even you try to read that notes, just they stay only for a second and they disappear again in the mind when you try to think about it.
Yeah, the aging process has disturbed the brain's capabilities probably. But if you, instead of that, if you take one name of the divine and go on repeating every day, that you don't have to remember, you don't have to note down anywhere. You
Okay.
simply go on repeating the divine name, if that is easy when you are not meditating.
Okay. Whatever you remember, you just practice that,
Yes,
the
yes.
detachment, and you be in your consciousness.
Yeah,
Okay.
whatever age is available, try to remember one simple name of the divinity with total faith and devotion. That will take care of your consciousness.
Namaskar, Baba. Thank you.
God bless
Babaji,
you.
there's two questions in the chat.
Yeah,
We have time for
we
those?
will take from you in the chat and then finish this session, right?
Okay.
Okay.
First one, what happens when a desire is binding? How do you tell if a desire is or is not binding?
If it is binding, it will make you miserable. Simple. It will make you suffer and stressful, and you can go mad type. It can drive you mad sometime. So that simple it is, that you will know that it is binding you now, it is dragging you, it is making you to lose your peace.
So you can't get upset with something that you're not bound to?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, second question. How to be powerful, strong, courageous, and peaceful and dispassionate when a worldly, egotistic person or situation wants to put you into fear and overpower you? How to not be overpowered by a person or a situation and keep centered in the spiritual power?
This world is always like that. One is more powerful than the other. Sometimes you have the upper hand, sometimes another has the upper hand. It keeps happening. Only the spiritual practice of meditation, remembering the divine, when you mentally become quiet and achieve the self-awareness, that only can give you the total confidence and courage. When acceptance comes, acceptance of success or failure, equally both are same, then you don't bother. Like when we were children in the school, our teacher used to tell, in your life anything happens, think that after all my head is going to be cut. Means that doesn't mean that you have to die or your head needs to be cut. But when you think, you gain that inner strength. Once your head is cut, more than that, who can trouble you? As long as you are alive only, people will trouble you. So if you think that, you gain inner strength and you gain that courage also will comes to face the situation in the world, always happens. So keep practicing meditation additionally, remembering the divine name. These things will help you to gain confidence, self-confidence. It will be very helpful.